Hi guys, happy Monday. So sorry I'm late for this week for my Forex video analysis. And yeah, we have some great movement on this Monday. I broke my rule and traded a little bit. Yeah, I'm in long euro at the moment. So okay, without further ado, let me start analyzing the market. Alright, euro, we are running into some serious resistance now in this range between 3290 and 3320. So we have to see what really happens. If price breaks this resistance around 3320, any pullback to this green zone here might be a very safe long in my opinion. So I bet many of you guys were caught by this V-shaped movement. Yeah, I already drawn this support trend line last week, so I was fully expecting price to challenge this support. So did I go long right at this low here? No, I didn't. So I got in about 3320. So I'm running about 70 pips of profit. So it's just range play. I mean, like support resistance, long at support, sell at resistance, long at support, sell at resistance. So for those who are lucky enough to get into this trade in euro, be prudent and consider taking some profit in this green zone. I believe 50 to 70 pips of profit is sufficient enough for a Monday in my opinion. So next up I want to talk about the sterling dollar. A very similar setup here we have something like a head and shoulders, then throw back to support, and a lot of spikes here. The reason why I don't really know the trade sterling, yeah, actually just now I had a long at around 1.58, but I chicken out with maybe 15 pips. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm thinking, but yeah, it burst up all the way 100 pips up, and it's now at last week's high as a resistance. But for sterling, I expect price to fully challenge this resistance all the way up here, around 1.6. So my bias for sterling remains up for this week. So we have a dollar news coming out at 10 p.m. Let's hope the news will help push up the price to maybe about 1.6. I will take profit and maybe rest for one night. No traders seldom have good nights of sleep. Right. Next is maybe Aussie. Yeah, this is the setup that Mumu is talking about. Price has retraced up, and this zone here. No, let me erase this. Okay. This zone right around here is a critical resistance, which I expect some reaction when price reaches this zone here. We have a slanting trend line resistance combined with a horizontal zone resistance here. So a lot of sellers will be camping here. Yeah, let's see what really happens. If price really breaks above both of this resistance, nice clean green bar, I might throw back to this support zone. Resistance turns to support, just like this. Like we always wait. Have to be patient though. So if price really breaks up above this zone and throws back to this now as support, I might be looking to long the Aussie. Yeah, I'm pretty biased this week. I'm thinking more of a bullish pair. I mean, bullish euro, bullish sterling, and a bearish dollar as a whole. So to look at dollar, I want to talk about this dollar cat trade which I posted in the afternoon. Was pretty upset that I missed this trade. I queued at $1 and it reached the price of 0.9998, and it just falls off the cliff. Yeah, my 50 pips. But yeah, shouldn't be too sad. At least I caught euro. So I fully expect price to really challenge this support trend line over here, which is maybe about 50 pips away. But those who already missed this trade, don't bother jumping. I hope some of you guys really queued a little bit lower, not as niao as me to queue so high and miss the whole trade. Yeah, so dollar cat, I think it remains a down for this week. Yeah, lastly I want to talk about yen pairs. Yen is pretty volatile in my opinion, so I choose to stay away from this pair for the last 2 weeks. Mumu had a great ride, maybe about 100 pips for the euro yen last week, but for this week, yeah, price seems to have completed a reversal pattern, maybe like a double bottom. So it has broken out. Maybe by 9 p.m. this bar will have completed. So any throwback, okay, let me clear everything to make it easier. Okay, we have a resistance here. So I always like to draw a zone. So once price clears this zone very nicely, I expect it to challenge this as a support. After breaking our resistance, it will challenge the same zone always as a support, and I hope that price will just burst off like this. So I remain upside bias for yen. Momo is pretty bearish on it, but I have to declare that I wouldn't want to trade yen if I have the other better pairs to trade. They are too volatile in my opinion. Stops have to be pretty wide, so it don't really suit my taste. Yeah, if you look at this Aussie yen price action in the morning, it did exactly the same thing like I predicted for Euro yen. Broke the resistance, throw back. Yeah, that was my dog. And yeah, now it's gonna challenge this next resistance zone at around 87.60. So it's yen is still pretty weak, in my opinion. So I guess that's all. Alright, sterling yen. I talked about this during my last video. I expect price to challenge this support around 43.20 coming to this week or maybe next week, whatever. Don't really care, but yeah, I remain bearish on this sterling franc, and yeah, I really miss this best entry here, so don't bother chasing unless you have deep pockets to spare. Okay, that's about it for this week's analysis. Thank you guys for spending time checking back at Fxgump always. I hope you guys enjoy what we share over here, what Momo, Sneaky and I talk about always. Yeah, we are real traders, so we have no intention to say things which are untrue I mean things that we don't really believe in. I hope you guys find that what we share here is pretty useful, and we really appreciate if you have any comments for us. Yeah, have a nice week ahead. Thank you.